Hello, this is Edwin from TCGs, and I'm here with another Cardfight Vanguard video. And this time I will be talking about cheating in Cardfight Vanguard and how to watch out for cheaters, and especially if the qualifiers are coming up, and there already has been one in America, in Toronto. Pretty much, yeah, how to watch out for cheaters and what kind of common cheating techniques are and what kind of special techniques are. Because, I mean, it's kind of annoying, especially since this game is based around getting triggers and not getting great stock. People are really tempted to cheat, so that's why. Well, first of all, is called pre-stacking. It's not really a cheat because in the floor rules it says that technically anybody can put their deck in any way they want before they start shuffling. So I could just, well, for some random reason I had 4 triggers stacked together on my deck, but I'm using my Dark Regular Strategy deck, by the way, because that one's easiest to shuffle because it's using Ultra Pro. I'll explain why later. Yeah, so basically just put double trigger together. Okay, double critical somewhere in my deck, yay, and double critical there. You could do the same with the grades as well, so you could put in like, maybe I want it like, well, maybe I'll just show it how it's done right now. It doesn't really have to be like, I mean, I'm just randomly stacking stuff right now. I mean, you can do it any way you want, and it's like, just like, as long as you remember, like, in this particular combination I have 1 grade 3, 2 grade 2s, and 1 grade 1. I mean, usually you want to put it in groups of 7 and just put in everything and 2 triggers and everything and 2 triggers, and then randomly order them, then shuffle your deck. That gives you the best chance of not getting great stuck. But the most common cheat is pretty much, or not cheating really, it's more like pre-stacking your deck. It's double trigger. Yeah. I mean, if you put double triggers together in your deck, then it's more likely that they'll stay together, and that's why people put them on together on the top of each other. It's not really cheating, but still, it's kind of, you can shuffle out of it, but that's why. I mean like this. It's like, there's not much to do against it except by pile shuffling. So if you suspect somebody of pre-stacking, or in general, if you suspect somebody, I mean, everybody will put the triggers on top of each other, but some people just do all of their triggers, so that's why they double trigger sometimes too many times. So maybe if you're just scared about it, just pile shuffle somebody's deck like this. That's kind of annoying to pay the camera, and just pile shuffle. Never pile shuffle in sets of 7, because that will restack the deck in the normal way again. So always pile shuffle in a different number. I recommend doing it higher than 7 instead of lower, because if you do it in higher numbers, let's say if you pile shuffle in 15, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, well, this is 12 because I can't show it. If you pile shuffle this way, it will be probably more, if I flip over the cards, you can see that the cards will probably be put on more randomly. Because if you put in 7, maybe this one will be together with that one. So yeah, it's still annoying to deal with. It's not really cheating in a sense, so you can't really call a judge for it. Second cheat is marking. That's really cheating though. Well, these are technically marked, if you guys can see. I mean, there's this little cut here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's pretty much off the wear. It's yellow bolt anyway. I mean, I see a lot of people, I have seen some people at locals who have all their sleeves like that because they're ultra pro. But the thing is that if people, let's say you're at a tournament and you're like, okay, let's mark certain cards. I don't only get great stock, and the most common people to get great stock on some grade 2, so they mark their grade 3s. Well, if you mark your grade 3s, if they mark their grade 3s, that's kind of obvious, like, right? So they mark some other cards in between as well. So maybe I'll mark all my grade 3s, and I'll mark my like several like 2 grade 2s, 2 grade 1s, and 2 triggers. So technically, they didn't mark only their grade 3s, but also mark several other cards, because if you only mark your grade 3s and some judge comes over and it's kind of obvious then, and you can always like claim like, oh, this is because of the wear, and grade 3s I always dropped off for perfect cards, etc, etc. There's also always a possible reason why they could be marked. That's why I said about using Ultra Pro, because those are technically the easiest ones to mark. The easiest one to shuffle as well, but that's something else as well. Yeah, pretty much that marking. There's also the other cheat. Let's see. Markings are kind of obvious. I mean, yeah, it's not. It's kind of a cheat that happens in every card game. So I guess markings kind of obvious for it to be in the video. But I'm not here to talk about markings in general, more about the more advanced cheats. Let's put it like this here. Next cheat I'm going to talk about is flipping triggers over. Well, I'm not gonna sort out my whole deck for it. Let's just put it randomly like this. Okay, I'll shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Okay, well, right now, as you guys can see, maybe a bit worse, these are the size of the normal cards, so the grade 2s. So, well, usually you do it the other way around, like this way. All the white ones are triggers right now. So, let's say I draw 5. Okay, no triggers. Nice. Oh, didn't totally see it coming. You can see at the white parts of the bottom that those are triggers. So the next one is not going to be a trigger, and this one is here. This cheat has happened several times on our locals before, and it's always the same guy doing it. Yeah, I mean, there's not. You can see it coming. I mean, one time I was shuffling my opponent deck sideways, and I saw some of the cards flip over, and I just shuffled everything back. It's easiest thing to do is just pass shuffle the deck, and just pass shuffle everything. Not much else you can do about it, but it's more about the. I mean, let's say I shuffle like this. Well, I can't see the back right, so that's why I always shuffle like this, so I can at least see this at the back. So if I see like a different color, okay, look, like right now everything is white because everything is put down towards me because it's Ultra Pro and you need the circle needs to be at the bottom and not at the top. But that's why I always shuffle sideways, so I can at least see it. Well, that's pretty much the pre-stacking and deck modifications. I mean, markings, pre-stacking everything, and flipping triggers over. Also, the ones with people having see-through sleeves and they put the trigger upside down inside the sleeve, but since you're technically not allowed to use sleeves that are clear, or at least you can see the back of it, that's why I'm not really talking about that one, because that's kind of obvious. I mean, if someone's using sleeves like that, you could just call a judge in an official tournament and they'll either ask him to re-sleeve or disqualify him, depending on which round it is and what happened. I mean, if he's double triggering you and you just call the judge, and then technically, yeah, it might be too late, but I'm not sure. The next cheat I'm gonna talk about is shuffling. I've seen several videos of people yeah, I mean, talking about how people stack triggers when shuffling, but I've never really seen somebody do it that well. I mean, I'm not sure if somebody else made a video like this before, but it's pretty much shuffling people's triggers on top, because in the rule book on the floor rules it says that the decks must be shuffled completely randomized, blah blah blah, and they must give their opponent a chance to either cut or shuffle the deck after they shuffled it themselves. Instead of asking their opponent to cut or shuffle their deck, a player may ask a judge to do so. The judges may decide whether this appeal is legitimate or not. But technically so. At Continentals this year, I haven't made a report about that, I'll make that one after this one, is that we could only let a judge shuffle our decks one time out of the best of 3 matches. At least I wasn't in the top finals, but the top 8, but the top 4 could, and some friends were in the top 4. But it also means that it's also possible to stack your opponent's deck. And I'm not saying that you guys should cheat and do it all the time, but it's actually very easy to do if you have a decent slate of hand. I've done it several times in casual matches and tried it out against my friends, and they were like, oh shit, I have a bad hand, etc. But it technically was me stacking their deck. So yeah, I never do it in big tournaments because I think it's kind of lame, and it's also removes all of the fun. And besides that, if you get caught in an official tournament, it's kind of painful. So first of all, what you need to do is always, in order for somebody to cheat like that, they have to shuffle sideways. That's the first thing. If they shuffle like this, they can't cheat, so they have to shuffle sideways. Your deck doesn't either. If your deck is pre-stacked, if you double trigger, if you put double triggers on top of each other, then it's easier to do it for them. So I don't recommend double trigger stacking because of that simple cheat. So I'm gonna do it like the obvious way. Okay, well, if you guys can see what I'm doing, I'm pretty much trying to see where the cards are right now. Okay, unshuffle. So well, what you do is like, okay, shuffle, blah blah blah, and you look like you don't even need to look that clearly at the cards, only at the bottom, because Bashirod made one mistake in their whole card game. Okay, well that card being on the top. Okay. It might be kind of obvious right now, but what I'm doing, but yeah, like that one was obvious, but check. 4 triggers in hand immediately. The last one was kind of obvious, but it isn't that hard to do. Okay, let's do it again. Let's shuffle my deck normally first. This is called the Sideway trigger stack shuffle, or whatever people want to call it. It's the most annoying shuffle to deal with, and you can't work your way around it. I mean, it's like the only way you can check is whether your opponent is actually shuffling. Because the thing about Vanguard is that the triggers at the bottom are all labeled yellow. So I don't really need to see the cards, I just need to see the bottom, or at least the reflection of the yellow color there. So if I just put the triggers on top like this, and the longer I take, the more triggers I can stack on top. So it's kind of like if I'm shuffling for 5 minutes, it's kind of obvious that I'm cheating. So that's why it's not possible to get all trigger hands, but it's possible to get like 3 or 4 in their hands. And there's some people outside here yelling. Yeah, that's pretty much that cheat. That's the worst cheat to face against, especially since it's so easy. I mean, the only thing you need to do is like check the deck once. Okay, well, these are critical there. Use one as well. Critical there. There. Several triggers in the hand for the win. And he sees the great stack. Okay, back 3. Well, you can't keep cheat shuffling triggers in their hand, but yeah, it's possible to make their hands as bad as possible. I mean, it is possible for them to let's say if he gets this in his hand and this. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible for me to reshuffle this again in his hand, but I can at least make his hand as worse as bad as possible. That's the thing. I'm not saying I cheated on tournaments or everything, but I mean, cheating like that kind of, especially in the team league. For me, in the team league, it was impossible for me to. I mean, even if I wanted to cheat, it was impossible for me to cheat because technically there were several people around the table. Your teammates are there, so you. Let's say if I was seating at the seat that was seated first, and somebody was seated next to me, and he sees me all putting all triggers on top. Yeah, it's kind of obvious then. But in a single best of one match, not everybody will be looking at your match unless it's finals. So that's why it's so easy to cheat like that. And sometimes people don't even really see. I mean, I don't really need to look at the cards. It's Bushiroad's fault for making the triggers here yellow. So yeah, I mean, now I already see that there are 3 triggers here to get actually. Yeah, so the only thing I need to do is put it like this, and then several triggers will appear at the top. Obviously, it will not ever always work that easily. I mean, the way I'm doing it right now, it's really quick. The longer I can take. I did it one time for fun during a sneak peek, and he had like 6 critical triggers. Well, I was shuffling for like a few minutes, and I put all his 6 critical triggers on top. So he had like 5 criticals in hand, and 1 critical was his draw. Well, not much you can do about that, right? But yeah, this kind of there's not much to do about this. The only thing you can do about it is ask him to either simply cut or stop shuffling like that, or if you think of them cheating, you can ask a judge to shuffle the deck afterwards. So yeah, it's the only thing to do then. It's kind of a hard cheat to do for some people. It's easiest to do if your opponent is using Ultra's Pro Sleeve. That's why I'm using this deck. Yeah. Let's see if there's another besides marking. Well, basically not really a cheat, but something stupid like attack Vanguard. Okay, how much is it? Oh well, he's like, oh, it's 17. He puts down 10 if his cross-side says 2 to pass. You're like, no, and he says, oh, okay, I'll play puts down 5 more. This technically isn't cheating, it's more of like a miscalculation, but yeah, or like, okay, trigger, power here, trigger, power here, and then you attack, and he's saying like, okay, you're like, you will forget the amount you put on the master, and they'll be like, oh, okay, it's you only get 1 trigger, and you forgot, and then it's not cheating. I mean, it's not really cheating, but it's kind of your own fault if you miscalculate stuff like that. So, not much to say about that. That pretty much completes the end of the video. I'll be doing a tournament report later on, and hope to see you guys at the next video. Oh, by the way, if you guys want, I can make some real life videos later on, so please stay tuned on our channel. And please subscribe if you like our videos. Bye!